All right, and we are back for our second segment here in the Dosage, episode 136. That's right, 136. Incredible. And there's something I got to do for you, Cody, because it's back. And you know what that is?
The noise?
This.
The sound alert?
This.
The following announcement has been paid for by the...
That's right. The nerds are back. It's been a minute, man. What was the last one you did?
The colors were off.
Oh yeah, it needs to be red. You're right.
Yeah.
Too sweet. So NOW is back. The Nerds of Wrestling. It's been a minute since Cody and Trevor were on the air. This again is a condensed version of what they did best. And for this month, we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble from 2011. Much like our other segment, 3 likes and then a dislike that we're going to talk about. And if you have any additional facts or fun things to say or things you really, really want to talk about that happened during it, feel free to share. Ad says, Vladimir Kozlov, man, that was a guy who went in the trash fast. Yikes. Batman says it's those nerds of wrestling. So, Rob, Justin, I know Justin specifically. You've never been the biggest wrestling fan, and that's okay. I've convinced you to watch numerous events during the course of our friendship, and I could probably say on my hands how many times you're like, yeah, that was a cool thing. You don't hate it, at least you didn't seem to say that to me to save my feelings. But I know it's just
at your girl's pay-per-view party.
You did go to numerous pay-per-view parties that I had in the 20s of my life. So thank you for that, for tolerating something that was so appealing to myself. Did you get a chance to find anything from this event, or did you just say it? I'm skipping this segment.
Yeah, I like how they throw the guys over the ropes.
Oh!
That's good. That's good. It is the Royal Rumble. That's true.
Yeah.
So he knows.
No, I did not watch this, but of the pay-per-view events, I always found this one to be the more entertaining. Just the creativity of the way that they, will throw them out. Oh, they're not quite out, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's always more fascinating than a storyline that I couldn't care about.
This is also one of the this is the best pay-per-view to gamble at with pay-per-view parties and stuff like that. I know now yearly I get together with people, and typically, maybe not this year, but what we typically do is I'll have a hat with 30 numbers on it. Everybody draws an even amount of numbers, and if your number spot wins, then you get whatever jackpot it is. Typically like a $10 buy-in or something like that. But it's a nice fun thing to get people that aren't interested in wrestling kind of rooting for people, even if they don't know who they are.
Rooting for somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. This is definitely my favorite match out of all the matches. And it's my birthday month, so it was like a show I always look forward to during the wintertime every year. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the Rumble events throughout the years. Ty wants to say, and spoiler alert, he wants to say that straight away that Alberto Del Rio is among the worst Rumble winners. He was the winner from this year's Rumble in 2011 that we're discussing here. Spoiler alert, he does go on to face Edge in his final WrestleMania match and final match until his big return 2 years ago to WWE. And what a sad last match for Edge to have against Alberto Del Rio. I'm not a big fan
Del
of
Rio?
He beat him though.
I feel like there's a lot of hate, but his title run was really good. I watched a couple of matches from it. He was extremely over. Everybody was chanting C instead of yes. Just a play off of Daniel Bryan. He was extremely over. I'm impressed I don't remember him being that over, but he absolutely was watching it back. If you watch the following Royal Rumble, he faced Big Show for the title in a last man standing match, and he was completely over. I mean, it is 1 year after, but still.
here's the thing, and this is outside of wrestling world. He has
He's a shitty human.
That's a nice way to put it. Yeah. It was supposedly dismissed, but he had assault charges against against him when he was with Paige. Mm-hmm. So supposedly it was dismissed. So even during a brief period of time where I enjoyed his ring announcer's work and moments of his work, it's hard now whether or not any of that information is true. Who knows? It's hard to have a lot of respect for the individuals on a personal level. And again, it's a character I never loved anyways in the ring. So he might quite possibly be, like what Ty said, the worst Royal Rumble winner. He went on to open WrestleMania and lose to Edge, so like it didn't even do anything for him. So who knows? Trevor says was never a fan of him. His finisher was awful. What is his finisher? I don't even remember.
Armbar. There's a arm breaker.
Oh.
I don't remember what his other one was, but I know he had a submission arm breaker.
Yeah. Trevor says, hold yourself up on the ropes so I can stomp on your face. Speaking of holding yourself up, has anyone ever noticed that the gravity in the arena, wherever the Royal Rumble is at, is turned up just a little bit?
It's super heavy.
Yeah. Everyone is very heavy in that match. And Justin, by the way, I got a bunch of clips that I'm going to send you now that I know that you're really interested in potential saving themselves.
Kofi highlights.
Not just Kofi. What is it? Kata. What's her name? Catazano or?
Yeah, Casey Catazarno. I don't know.
Ricochet's significant other, right? X. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, look out. I don't keep up on all that. But yeah, I got clips I'm going to send you now every single day. Nothing but Rumble clips. You're welcome.
Yeah, gravity is definitely turned up when you can't lift Rey Mysterio up.
Yeah, everyone's so heavy. Trevor says I meant the one where he puts them upside down in the ring post and they have to hold themselves up so he can jump down on them. Yeah, Casey Catanzaro.
Yeah, even reading it, you really can't pronounce it.
Right, yeah, that's a very difficult name.
You gotta hear it said.
But she walks on her hands to get back into the ring. Like it's there's cool moments. And Kofi has a lot of things. So for those that did watch it, Rob, you said you didn't get a chance, or you did?
I did not.
You did not. Cody, would you like to hit us with any likes or dislikes that you had regarding this event?
Sure, I will. Let's see. The Miz versus Randy Orton. I really enjoyed that match for the WWE Championship. I did enjoy how it was only 4 matches on the main card, and that's including the Royal Rumble itself. It didn't feel like it dragged out way too long like they do these days. Even though the 2 title matches were both 20-minute matches.
Well, with the event too, keep in mind, for those that don't know, this was a 40-man Rumble. The first time ever. Every Rumble is traditionally 30 people except for the inaugural one, which was 20. This one was 40 people. It is the only time that they've ever done a 40-man Rumble at the Royal Rumble event. They do have a thing called the Greatest Royal Rumble that is not considered under this timeline or Rumble, whatever you want to call it. That takes place generally in Saudi Arabia, and that is 50 people. And that's regarding Ads' comment here in chat. It says, every non-wrestling fan will appreciate Titus's Royal Rumble entrance. That's another clip for you too, Justin, that I'll send your way. We've talked about
I have no idea how that happened, and he didn't destroy something on his body.
He got lucky. But yes, I just wanted to point that out. 40-man Rumble in this one, and you talk about the pacing, Cody. So I didn't want to miss that one.
No, you're good. I like the pacing. I like how every match was meaningful besides the women's match really wasn't, which turned into a fatal 4-way, but that was short. So, I mean, it makes sense. It was just kind of a filler before you got into an hour and 10-minute long match. In terms of the Royal Rumble itself, I did feel like it was a lot of filler with the 40 guys. It was a lot of showing off new Nexus of CM Punk and his crew. and the core. Once they got out, it got a little bit better. You got to see a lot of names that didn't make big waves. You also got to see a lot of guys that were still in. You got to see some AEW guys. You got to see Diesel, which was great. It was a great return for him. He got a very favorable pop, as you like to say. But yeah, Alberto Del Rio winning. I didn't mind it because at the time he was extremely over. We know now that he was a shitty person, and he still is a shitty person.
Yeah.
But back then, we didn't know that. Just like Chris Benoit, we can't look back at Chris Benoit matches and say, hey, that dude did some horrendous things. He was great at the time.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, that's a good point too, because there are a lot of moments that I reflect upon. Most notably, WrestleMania 20's conclusion with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit in the ring.
Yeah.
That's to me, and it stood for the longest time, one of my favorite WrestleMania moments. And it's unfortunate that it has to be kind of wiped from history, right? Because the awful things. But yeah, it sucks. Like, really, the conclusion is just don't be a shitty person. And this goes for Hollywood. This goes for musicians. I mean, it's entertainment, right? There's just so many shitty individuals.
Yeah. I mean, I do like looking back at some of these older pay-per-views like this Royal Rumble because you see a lot of different people and being able to see, people's old gimmicks. Like, you got to see Bray Wyatt go from Husky Harris back in this pay-per-view to Bray Wyatt and then to The Fiend. So, I mean, you just see drastic changes in people. You see Ted DiBiase, who never amounted to much in the wrestling standpoint. Seeing JTG was nice because it reminds us of, that tag team and the wonderful man that he was tagged up with.
Shad Gas.
But yeah, I mean, you see people that also didn't make it that look like they should have been stars. Like Mason Ryan was the big one that I had to Google back and be like, what happened to that guy?
He's Batista's stunt double.
Yeah.
The guy looks exactly like Batista.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
And like Tyler Rex, who was brand new at that time, and Jack Swagger is brand new. Alberto Del Rio, it was his first Royal Rumble. Alex Riley was supposed to be a stud and didn't make it. Wade Barrett. I mean, there's so many people here that it's just cool
with
to go
the
back.
weakest looking finisher of all time.
Yeah, the bull hammer. And yeah, I did really enjoy the time in the match with John Cena and Hornswoggle teaming up for 5 eliminations. Yes, it's filler, but it was entertaining filler.
Right, and that's what Justin was talking about too, as far as moments, right? You can't have just everyone rushing in and then trying to get somebody, out of that ring. You got to have those moments, otherwise that match would be so incredibly boring. It's actually one of my things that I highlighted for things I liked. I don't know if you noticed this, but I definitely did, because the Royal Rumble is notorious for one thing almost every year in its existence. Do you know what that is?
Surprise?
A surprise, yes. There were surprises in this. We got that. But what didn't we get in this Rumble?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. In this Rumble, we didn't get a celebrity entry.
That's true.
That is rare these days. Even this year, we have Johnny Knoxville expected to be in the Rumble match at some point. So, to highlight chat real quick before I continue that thought, Trevor says, did you guys see that they're talking about putting NXT on the same day as Night 1 of Mania this year, taking place from 12 to 3? He says Vince really hates NXT. Yeah, that's a bad idea. I don't know.
Terrible idea.
Terrible. Ty says Cesaro. Ty also said I love Jack Swagger. The fake lisp. I don't think it's fake, to be honest, but maybe just me. Ad says I used to know Mason Ryan. He wrestled local before going to WWE. That's crazy. He's the lookalike for Batista. It's weird. Ty says Johnny Knoxville. And I predict Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny coming back. Oh God.
He'll get a reaction for that. I will say that Jack Swagger's lisp is 100% real. He still does it to this day.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna give a
just
guy
like Cody Rhodes.
You're gonna give.
Rhodes has a lisp.
You're gonna call a guy Jack Thwagger with a lisp. That is messed up. Don't do that. It's like it's a weird bully, and it's Vince McMahon who did it. You know, he's like, you have a lisp. I'm gonna put an S in your name instead of calling you Hager. I'm gonna call you Swagger.
That's why they did dashing with Cody, because they knew he had a lisp, so they wanted him to say dashing.
That's messed up. Like, that's just bullying. Don't they have a "Don't Be a Bully" campaign, and yet they are?
Yeah, but
that doesn't count for Vince. He's the boss. He can do whatever he wants.
Notes to self. All right. Yeah, so there were no celebrity spots, though. I thought that was nice. One of the things that Lana and I were doing during watching of this was, and this is a game we like to play, as morbid as it may be, can we recreate this match today? Whether it be with existing talent or, unfortunately, deceased talent. Can a match be recreated today? Because I know WWE loves going back to the well and recreating moments and trying to relive moments that probably shouldn't be recreated. It's just WWE thing, Vince thing. So can we create it? 40 entrants in this Rumble. How many are still active on the WWE roster? This is 11 years. How many do you think?
12.
We got 12.
18.
We got 18. We got, what'd you say, Justin?
8.
8. So Lana guessed as well. I guessed 8. It's funny, you said 8. I guessed 8. Lana said 10. The magic number? 10. Lana nailed it. 10 people active on the roster today. In WWE.
So it gets a little worse, because me and Ty actually played this game a couple of weeks ago. We played it for the 2018 Royal Rumble, and we did just the first 15 entries. 13 of them were not in WWE still to this day.
Yeah, it took until entrant 18 or 19 for somebody to still be active in WWE today, and it was, I think the first one was R-Truth.
But 18
50?
Was rough. Because that's only. I mean, now it's 4 years old, and they.
Well, right, 4 years, yeah, 11 years. You
rough.
Expect it to be that way.
There was
right?
more AEW people in the first 15 than there is WWE people.
That's just crazy. That's I mean, like, we know already that WWE released almost 200 people over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people, and they're still not booking everybody. That's how you know you have a stacked roster, that you're just collecting all the cards just to have them. Like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Give up some people. Let them work elsewhere and be on camera. Or go elsewhere and not get booked, and then they have to release people. Speaking of, contracts are coming up, too. I'm seeing rumblings of that over in AEW. Think we see any surprises in the Rumble from AEW people?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, the only ones that they're really releasing right now is like Sonny Kiss, Joey Janela, guys like that. I don't think WWE's picking up any of those
Brian
guys.
Cage?
Yeah, but he's still got some time. I don't think he has. He's not before Royal Rumble.
What about Marco Stunt?
Marco Stunt, that's absolutely no.
Leo Rush.
Did show up at GC. Nah, he shouldn't have a job anywhere.
He's just gonna quit on him.
Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't have a job anywhere. He quit on the Challenge too. MTV The Challenge. He quit that show. He's literally quit every show he's been on, even if it's not wrestling.
What a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
Ty says Leo Rush is a very annoying person, but a good wrestler. Yeah.
He's a great wrestler. Just he needs to kind of get complacent somewhere.
Trevor says Peter Avalon. Ty says Brian Cage looks like Vince's wet dream. Yeah, I mean, that's his man.
And he can do a backflip.
Yeah. Lana says Cody doesn't want people to work.
Me? Me? Have you talked to your husband about this? He gets so mad that AEW picks up people.
Because they pick up everybody. They pick up everybody.
Sorry, they have a job.
Hey, Justin, Rob, do you guys want a job? I hear AEW hires everybody.
I wouldn't say everybody.
I don't know. I will say, just randomly, because somebody brought it up, I am shocked that Brian Cage has not ever signed with WWE, because he is like what Vince wants. 100%.
Apparently, that's his choice. It was his choice for a while.
So, I mean, the thing is,
they wanted him when he went to Impact. He didn't want to go to NXT. That was his thing.
Right, and that's where they wanted him, because he had come out of Lucha Underground and went to Impact, and then they wanted to sign him for developmental, and he's like, I'm not a developmental guy. Look at my resume. And I'm in agreement with him. Yeah, he's a main roster guy, 100%. So, but that's the thing. They're not going to do that for him. 10-bit donation from Ty. Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Hooray.
Thank you for that.
Any giant dude that's that jacked that can do backflips, sign me up.
Yeah, he just needs a little bit more personality, and then I think he'll do all right. 10-bit donation from Ty. Hip, hip.
Random. Hooray.
Hooray.
Trev, because I had brought up that I didn't think Brock Lesnar had any mic skills, so that's why I didn't like him. His recent stuff makes me laugh my ass off, so
Dude,
I'm eating my words.
Where have you
he's
been
doing
his
all right.
entire career? He's actually good on the mic.
He's just a Hangman Page wannabe.
Oh, God.
I think that's
Dressing in
backwards.
that cowboy shit.
Oh, my God. You got to get off the internet, my friend. Those groups that you're in are warping your mind. It's like Fox News for wrestling fans.
No, the one that I'm in, it just talks bad about AEW and nothing else. I'll
invite me to that. I need to be in that one. 10-bit donation from Ty. Hip, hip.
Hooray. I don't think they're serious, but it's mainly just shit posting.
I mean, that's what wrestling fans do.
Isn't
That's
that
what
all the
fans of
internet
any.
is these days?
I was gonna say that's the internet in a nutshell. You can't like things because people are just gonna shit all over it. So let's talk about the things I did like about this pay-per-view. Did you give your 3? I know you were
I went through a couple more than 3.
That's fine. Did you have any dislikes before I mentioned my liking of things?
The only dislike that I had is just that it felt like a lot of filler. I felt like especially in the beginning of the match, it was just a lot of, somebody would come out, the core would destroy, or the new Nexus would destroy them, and it just got boring. And the women's match was also not great.
I did like the reaction to John Cena coming out, like the foreshadowing for him and Punk for their next couple of years. Like that was a good rivalry. It was good TV for them for this period of time. It really was, especially compared to other products that were out this time. Like they were really hitting home runs. Some of the things I liked the pacing. You mentioned it as it not being a good thing. I liked the pacing. I liked the highlights of the factions in the Rumble. I thought that was nice. I thought it was a good way to showcase and try to bring back the new Nexus as being like this dominant thing. Mostly because WWE is notorious for failing on factions. They don't know how to tell a faction story. The only faction story that I've thoroughly enjoyed that they've done well with was Evolution. Still to this day, that's my favorite story arc because it had a proper beginning, middle, and end. That is rare in WWE television.
Shield?
No. I don't think there was a lot of depth to their storytelling. I think they were lacking.
The only thing that I may have not liked about it is that I know what happens to Nexus in the future. I know that John Cena just buries everybody, and all those guys pretty much get released from the company.
Right? Yeah. So it was the burial machine Cena era. Yeah. That's. Yeah. But it was Shield. Like I wasn't a huge fan of. I don't think they had a really good storytelling. I cringed at their early promos with the camera stuff. Like they watched too much Dark Knight and the Joker. Like Ambrose during that time, I really cringed during that. I thought that was bad. The one-dimensional Roman as the muscle worked just for that. It just was fine. The only good thing that came out of it was the betrayal, and it was the right person to do it was Seth, because he was the star of the Shield. The other two were not. And it wasn't until this recent storyline of Roman where we finally get to see his talents. The fact that it took 6 years to get there, though, 6-7 years, it's sad. And Dean Ambrose is still searching for his stardom.
There's a lot of pushing it down our throats, too.
Well, I think that was the problematic part, too. And then, like I said, Dean Ambrose was truly the weakest link out of it. Deathmatch wrestling can only go so
Roman
far.
Seems to kick off. Yeah, Roman seems to actually be doing good when they stop trying to shove him down your throat as a face and just let him be a heel.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he's good in with this. And Ty says searching for Star. Moxley is a star. I mean, to those that like it, I think he's a very bland wrestler, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it was Seth as number 1, Dean Ambrose as number 2, and then Roman as the weakest link.
And see,
just because I feel like at least Mox had, the comedic timing and the storylines he was in. He always knocked him out of the park, and he's not bad in the ring either.
A lot of his stuff I just don't like. So I mean, that's the great thing about wrestling. It's subjective. Everybody likes their own thing. So, what else I like? I mentioned the 10 out of 40 people still being active, and then I mentioned already the 0 celebrity spots. We actually showcased our roster at this time. Kudos on the booking of that. The thing I disliked, the first 2 matches that opened this show, were the World Championship and then the WWE Championship. Both of them ended with outside interference. To have that happen back-to-back in your major world title matches, I didn't like that booking. While it sets up storylines, especially with the road to WrestleMania, I get that. I just thought having those matches back-to-back and then having the same endings happen back-to-back, and then them being such long matches to end with the same conclusion, I thought that was bad storytelling. One of them ending that way would have been fine, but having them both end in the same or similar fashion or manner, I thought that was bad placement on the card and bad booking.
Yeah, I mean, I would have kept the Miz and Randy one because that actually told a story with Nexus and CM Punk coming out and hitting the GTS and making Miz get the win.
Yeah, because who was it that interfered with Edge? Who?
Vicky Guerrero and
right, but it was
other.
Who was it? Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly.
What?
What's the other one?
That didn't make sense. I don't know. That was weird. So, like, if I would have changed anything, I would have changed the booking of that, have it a clean finish, and I don't know. I get what they were doing. They were trying to set up things, but... And Ty says, yeah, Kelly interfered to back up Edge, yeah. Random. It didn't need to be. It was just lazy and weak booking, especially back-to-back. Trevor says, think WWE is going to have 30 women for this year's Rumble. The Iconics said, yeah.
The Iconics said no.
Yeah, they said no. They are call now. Said now to. Do you mean no? Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, they said no. I don't blame them. If you get fired from somewhere and that job wants you to come back for one night for a paycheck, it really depends on how that relationship ended. If I got burned, the fool me once, fool me twice kind of scenario goes on in my head, like I'm not going to so willingly come back. Unless it's a real fat paycheck, I'm not going to go make an ass of myself just for one night.
That's Saudi money.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like everybody has a price. So good on them though for saying no, because more people need to say no to WWE and maybe they'll start to change and then open up that forbidden door more. So Trevor says Mickie James coming back as a surprise. She was treated bad on her way out. Yeah. Who knows though? Like I said, who knows? Any other thoughts on the Rumble event then that you want to talk about?
Nope.
No.
Unless who you think is going to win this Sunday?
Saturday night, this year's Royal Rumble. Who do I think is going to win? Honestly, I don't know.
Men's or women's?
I honestly, Bianca Belair for the women's. Although I'm hearing Ronda Rousey's going to come back, and they're probably going to give it to her.
And Bayley.
For the men's, I don't know. Brock or Bobby Lashley, they'll put themselves in the Rumble and they'll win, depending on the outcome of their matches. I don't know.
That's terrible.
But again, it's WWE, so like that's comfort booking on what I think they would do if I had to make an educated guess.
This is the first year I just have no idea. I mean,
it's not obvious, really, but I haven't seen the full list yet either. So, and I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up week to week either because it is what it is. So, what else we got before we exit this segment? They gave her a trash bag. Yeah, that's something they've been doing for a long time, supposedly. The dust off Molly Holly. I wouldn't be mad seeing her one more time. They did it a year or two ago. Women's Rumble winner Liv Morgan or Bayley. God, okay, let me ask you this question. Why is everyone over on Liv Morgan?
She's terrible in the ring and not good on the mic, and Becky already outclassed her once.
Thank you!
And Vince has no faith in her, so she's not winning. She's going to be released in the next 6 months.
But why is everyone so hype on her?
Look at? I don't know.
That's probably the reason, is that she's nice to look at.
But there are so many...
but she's blonde.
You asked for a reason. I gave you one reason.
Fair. Okay. Fair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trevor says Owens, they're paying him enough to need to push him. I mean, no, he's going to get that money regardless, so. They just want to keep him in WWE. They don't want to lose yet another. Ty says, I like Liv Morgan because of Riot Squad nostalgia. I mean, I guess that was another.
I mean, even that wasn't.
That wasn't booked right.
It wasn't booked well at all. Neither was the other one that debuted on the other brand the exact same way, the same week.
Yeah.
With, I don't remember what it was. It was Mandy Rose and Paige. and
where they had to rename them after the first week when they were like the submission sorority because Pornhub has that trademarked.
Yeah. It was, but it was the same exact week. Just one was Raw, one was SmackDown, and they debuted the exact same way.
Like they don't do like. Here's the thing: if you're gonna name something, and they still make this mistake as of a couple weeks ago, or even like a week, if you're gonna name something, yes, if you're gonna name something, do a Google search. You bet I searched for Dose of Nerd Acumen when I was researching this brand because I don't want to get invested into a name and then have to change it. Like 3 Second Tan was the original podcast for the wrestling show, and then I did a search and somebody already had like 2 episodes from 5 years prior. But I'm like, the fact that somebody already had the name once, even though it's not active, sure we could have kept the name, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be that thing where I'm adding a bunch of numbers or X's and stuff into the name of a brand I'm trying to launch. So WWE, do a Google search. Submission sorority. You probably might not like your results, or you might. The same with Gunther for Walter. Why rename him in the first place?
Gunther Stark.
Which was a Nazi war general.
Yeah.
Dude, come on, do a Google search. So they
decided just to erase the Stark.
Or just keep him Walter, because that's his name. You know, I think the problem is they want to trademark likeness because they think they're going to invest in Walter. I'm refusing to call him Gunther. They're going to invest in him.
Same as Dewdrop, because wasn't she Piper Niven or something like that?
Right, she had an established name internationally. Yeah. So, Abyss is a surprise entrant. I mean, he worked as a writer or creative team member for WWE for a long time. I don't know if he's still with the company.
Is he still wrestling? Because I know he's like pushing 60. Like he's old now.
No,
man.
Abyss.
Sting's still doing it.
Yeah, but Sting was in better shape than Abyss was.
That's very true.
And Abyss did all the super crazy matches and everything, so his body went through some shit, man.
Yeah, he was Impact's Mankind.
Basically, yeah, he was like their version of it. Thank you for the host, Dingus. Ty says you might not want to say that N-word too often then. Oh, can you not say Nazi? Is that a no-no? I don't know. Twitch, you tell me.
Guess not.
Twitch,
we'll find out.
Twitch, you tell me. Freddie Prinze Jr., he was a writer for a while, too, for WWE. He had some not so nice things to say about them. I mean, who has nice things to say about WWE if they're released from the company? Let's be real.
Cross.
Yeah, he's
the only one I've ever heard that said good things about them.
There are some more than him. I'm just kind of being funny here. I know, no laughs. But yeah. Let's move on because we're out of time for our Rumble segment. We want to talk about our next segment here, which is our music album review. So give me a moment while I prep that, and we'll be right back with you.